Howdy y'all, I am Ice Gold, and today we're going to be going over the best free-to-play myth setup. Gotta keep my voice down a little bit, it is late at night, but yeah. So first, of course, I've got to explain what gear templates are, and their significance, and how they will keep this guide relevant through till 190 and beyond. So what you see here, this Mythic Abomination Crown, is part of the Darkmoor End of Story world set. And so basically what that means is the EOS End of Story set is going to be best in slot for all of the pieces that say like Mythic Abomination here. So whatever the Amara EOS world set is, that will take the Abomination set's place once level 190 comes out with that world. So something to just keep in mind, these templates do recur regularly, but most of these pieces are going to be from the same template, so just something to keep in mind. But for starters, the Mythic Abomination Crown is going to be our best pick for the hat. 36 damage, 10 pierce, very, very good. You gain 2 pierce and 1 damage from the Reaver hat, so I would say that this is worth getting, just because, I mean, pierce in this game is pretty valuable. Myth is a pierce school, it gets a lot of it, so that makes total sense. For the robe, let us head on over to Gwyn oh, okay, here we go. to Gwyn to take a look at the, where is it? Emblematic Hanamikachu. This is the level 180 and later 190 version of the Nullity template. And as you can see, I have the Nullity robe for level 160 on right now. So just a little something to keep in mind, this Nullity robe template from raids. I should also mention that the Abomination set drops from Balaur in the Scholomance, but the Mythic Robe and the Nullity drops from the Voracious Void raid based on Dragonspire, and the emblematic Hanami Kachu drops from the Blighted Veil raid based on Mushu. So a little something to keep in mind. So, you know, there you have it. There's not much of a stat increase. I will say a lot of Myths pieces don't have stat increases. But for this one, in this case, you gain 1 damage and 1 pierce and 1 resist as well. So, you know, you might want to look into getting it. Just if you don't already have a Nullity template robe, this one will be the one to go for just off the rip. So there you go. But yeah, not much else to it. It's just this exact template is going to be what you're going to want for probably the rest of time, if we're just being honest. So that is my take on the raid robes. They are the best. There is the Housing Gauntlet template, like this is the plot armor from the Forbidden Library Gauntlet a couple years back, and this was most recently renewed with the Liches and, not Liches and Legends, but the Fitzhume. Brendan had it on this Fitzhume's Pathfinder gear. This is the, like I said, the Housing Gauntlet version, or Housing Gauntlet template rather, and this one that Brendan has on here is the highest level version of it. So something to keep in mind. If you don't want to do raids, this is where to go, but do keep in mind you are losing damage, you are losing pierce, gaining a lot of resist, I will say, but most importantly, you are losing a lot of Shadow Pit rating. And personally, I do tend to use Shads a good bit. I like to use Tatzelworm Horror a lot when I am questing on my myth. It actually really does mass, like, not that much more than Orthrus, but it still does do quite a good bit of damage, and it's only 5 pips in Shad, so totally worth using, I would say. So keep that in mind, just sort of based on whatever robe choice you make. So for the boots, I do not actually have the Mythic Abomination Stompers because I was not lucky enough to get them. Balaur is a cruel thing to farm. So there you go. But the notable stat increases here are +3 Pierce, so this goes from 8 to 11 with the Mythic Abomination Stompers, but then you only gain 1 damage and 2 resist elsewhere, so that is kind of it for the boots. The Mythic Abomination Stompers, of course, being part of the Darkmoor EOS set that I talked about at the beginning, and joining it is going to be the Mythic Abomination Glaive, which is also part of the EOS set from Darkmoor, and this wand is quite good. It gives only 1 more damage than the Reaver and Reaver equivalent wands. This Xibalba wand did get its template renewed for level 180 in the Ghastly Conspiracy raid, so it's kind of up to you on if you want to go for that or not. But with this here, the Mythic Abomination Glaive is best in slot. It gives 29 damage and 14 pierce, which is 4 more than the Reaver wand, so something very important to keep in mind when you're looking at this. So there you have it. Raid wands give Shadow Pip rating, whereas EOS wands give Pip conversion. That is the only difference between these two, so or between these two templates rather, so just something to keep in mind here. But the Mythic Abomination Glaive is the best in slot, and the Amara EOS wand will be the best in slot no matter what, bar none, until the June 2027 raid comes out with a level 190 version of the Xibalba Heavenly Sword that you see here. For the Athame, this is a very interesting one. I will say right now that the Myth School really does not gain a lot of damage from their gear upgrades here. More so Pierce, as you saw, I'm down 3 here and 1 here, so yeah. But whereas here, where, you know, Athames and rings and all of these accessories, they don't give Pierce, Myth is kind of getting stiff, because as you can see here, the Mythic Abomination Athame that drops from the Greyman Golems in Gravehome doesn't give any more damage, which is why I haven't bothered to unlock any of its jewel sockets. Although, thinking about it, I eventually probably will unlock these jewel sockets, just because Myth gets plenty of Pierce, and I personally would recommend running 5 damage jewels, and I'm not kidding about that. I would recommend running 5 damage jewels if you are a Myth. The rest of your gear will give you plenty of Pierce. You will get to like 44 or something like that, I think is how the math shakes out, which is plenty. I say that for all the other schools. So because Myth gets a lot of Pierce naturally, it opens the door for 50 extra damage just from these jewels alone. So absolutely something to keep in mind. But that is the story of the Athame. If you have the Reaver Athame, I wouldn't even bother farming Greyman. Yeah, it'll probably get a damage increase in Amara, but yeah, ultimately, if you have Reaver, don't farm this. So yeah, that's kind of all that I've got to say about it. For the amulets, this one really all just kind of depends on having a circle triangle amulet. You will only get 1 triangle socket with this entire gear set, but that's all you need. And more than all you need with a 16% accuracy jewel. So that is something to remember as well. So just as long as you have these, this amulet jewel template with a circle and a triangle, there you go. Problem solved. That is your amulet choice. I personally like the Reaver amulets that drop from Crash the Bandicoot in the Wabagong territory, because they give this Mythblade item card. The hats also give this Mythblade item card, but this is a more timeless piece, because there are like the EOS amulets don't really give that many stat upgrades. So realistically speaking, if like the Amara EOS set does not give a blade between the hat, the boots, and the wand, I can always just use this one from the amulet, just like I did when Reaver was the best gear. So that is the story there. Just circle, triangle, no matter what it is, whether it's the EOS template, whether it is the Hunhao / Jabalba raid template, whether it's the Chronicle template, which is an interesting one that I have not gotten into, but the Barkingham Chronicle update coming hopefully in just a couple of weeks here will give amulets on this template. So like a little less res, a little more pip conversion, a little more health, but the same jewel template. So there you go. Pick your poison. Just as long as it has a circle and a triangle, you are good to go. For the rings, I have the Mythic Abomination ring, and this one is another case where you don't gain any base damage from the ring itself. The only reason I have this equipped is because I shattered unlocked the sockets with a socket wrench before I realized that both of these rings gave a total of 20 damage. So I just sort of had this sitting around, and just now I actually socketed that tier jewel, that circle for the damage, and the square for the health, just because I had them on me. And again, like I said, you know, Myth gets plenty of Pierce, so what you ideally want to do is run 5 damage jewels. For most of the other schools, I'm going to say like 2 damage, 3 Pierce, or 3 damage, 2 Pierce, but Myth gets plenty of Pierce, so just go all in on damage. That is my advice. But yeah, doesn't give any more damage than Reaver. If you already have Reaver, wouldn't sweat it. If you have Eon, I would probably sweat it. So just something to think about there. But yep, that is the story with the Mythic Abomination ring. For the pet, this is my Quint damage mighty / thinking cap little Medusa. This is a pretty good pet body. I don't know if I would call it the best pet body. It does give that blade, which is very useful, but you're never going to use the Blinding Light or the Medusa. So realistically, the only thing that really matters is the blade. So, you know, do with that what you will. But, you know, like a Myth Dactyl, to be totally honest, is the one that I want the most. Not that I would be using the Earthquake or the Gargantuan, but you get the picture. Actually, wait. There is a Griffin from the Sinbad Horde Pack that gives a Myth Blade and a Feint, so that actually is the pet body that I want. I've just never gotten around to making that, so just something to think about. Quint damage, there you go. For the mount, this is going to be the one video out of the 7 that I actually have the Battle Narwhal on, because I fished this one up from the Polarian Shipwreck bundle house a while back, like 2019-ish, and this is the only mount in the entire game that you can get for free. It is quite good for that reason. You know, just an extra 2 damage, not bad. Myth is getting plenty of damage from its jewels, but this, I think, does bump it up a little bit more, which is quite nice. For the deck, this is a similar case to the amulets. All you're really going to want is a deck that gives a circle slot. The item card I've not seen be useful. I think some of the decks from the Ghastly Conspiracy raid give blades, but ultimately I'm just not really that worried. You have the Chronicle decks here on this template. You've got raid decks, and of course you've got EOS decks, so just anything that gives a circle is the best in slot. So with that being said, let us go over the final stat tally. For damage, you're looking at 269 with the 2 damage jewels, but you're also looking at 270 with the emblematic Hanamikachu, and you are also looking at 271, yes, with the Mythic Abomination Stompers. So there you go, getting very close to the cap of 275, which is very, very good, of course. And then for the Pierce, minus 12 for that plus 20 damage. brings you down to 40, but then add 4 back with the one that I'm missing from the Blighted Veil Robe and the 3 that I'm missing from the Abomination boots, and you get to 44. 44 is plenty. It is more than some of these other setups are getting, even with Pierce Jewels socketed, so you know, that is a testament to how much Pierce Myth really gets. So pip conversion 66%, shadow pip rating 108. You could totally flip these around, get some more shads if you use the Ushabalba template wand, but the EOS wand will, of course, fill in for this this pip conversion stat. So there you go, perfect pips as well. So just once over, if you have the absolute 100% finished setup, which I don't because I don't have membership, and I'm not looking to buy it, Jackson, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not looking to get back into it like that, but 271 damage. Probably a little more than 45 resist. I'd say it's probably pushing 50 at this point. Plenty of accuracy, and then, of course, you know, you've got 44 pierce, 840 crit, pretty good, and then some decent block as well. Perfect pips, decent shads, and pretty good pip conversion. So that is going to wrap this one up. So thank y'all for watching. I've been Ice Gold. Be sure to like, subscribe, and leave like 50 comments for the algorithm. My Discord is down in the description if you want to chat with me some more, and I will see y'all later.